Everybody, welcome to another episode of No Way Jose, starring 12-time IFBB Pro League champion, Arnold Classic champion. Did I get it right? Was it 12, right?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, finally. Thank God. Please welcome all the way from Massachusetts, Jose Raymond. How are you, Jose?
I'm fabulous. How you doing, bud?
Good. So this Tony Huge guy, you know, he's been kind of running a circus over there in Thailand for a while. And just when I thought things couldn't get any crazier or more stupid, I found out through a Trigili video, I'll give Nick credit for this one, about this mass blast contest he was running over there with. I guess there were 6 of them doing it originally. I think it came down to just 2 guys, but both of them, I don't know if you had a chance to look at the video link I sent you to see what these guys look like. Neither one of them in any shape or form looks like a bodybuilder. One of them kind of looks like he works out, but he's like chubby. You know, 90% of the guys at Bayshore look better than this guy. And the other one looks like he's barely ever touched a weight. So that's Cody, the one who's smaller. And the latest video from Tony showed him at the hospital because his blood sugar had gotten too high. It was over 300. He was right into like type 1 diabetes territory. So I looked into what this guy was doing. So it's a contest to see who can gain the most lean muscle mass in 9 days. Not like 90 days. I didn't stutter, 9 days. So this Cody kid that's in the hospital with the blood sugar, he was doing 5 grams of test a week, 30 IUs of growth a day. Oh, it gets better. I don't even want to go into the peptides, MK77, this and that. But listen to the insulin intake, which was supposed to balance out the GH. 200 units of Lantus in the morning, and then 100 units of fast-acting insulin with every other meal. That's 5 more meals. So a total of 700 units of insulin a day for this kid. Didn't look like he'd ever touched a weight, still doesn't. They're trying to win $5,000. The other guy, I said 30 IUs. So the other guy he calls himself, I don't know if his real name is Elon. He calls himself Elon Muscular or something. It's a take on Elon Musk, obviously. I guess he's not on as much gear, but he told me in a comment section, I'll read his comments to me because he's the only one that came at me. I commented, I'll read my comments because I have no shame. He was on less, but it was still 80 IUs of insulin a day, 20 IUs of growth a day, 350 milligrams of tren a week, 500 milligrams of test plus 50 milligrams of tren base or suspension before every workout, all these SARMs. Anyway, before I let you begin, I want to reference this kid's, I say kid, he's probably late 20s. He's already bald, but you know, that could have been genetic. I'm not going to blame that. I mean, I'm starting to lose some hair here. So anyway, he calls himself Big Boy in the video, Big Boy, which you would think is a big dude, but he's not big at all. So my comment, which was kind of nasty, I'll admit, I was in a pissy mood for whatever reason. I said, I have known hundreds of natty guys who are way bigger than quote unquote Big Boy. Tony Huge is the messiah for all the lazy, stupid, impatient mother effers out there. And then what I say? Dude, I look way better than you, Natty, 25 years ago. At the rate you're going, you'll die long before the age I am, 52. Because he came back and said, I don't care how you looked. You have a lame mindset where everything's about bodybuilding, how you look. I'm not a bodybuilder. I'm not lazy, stupid, or impatient. The mass blast, I erased it. Oh, wait. Sorry, man. And then he said, bro, you're delusional if you think taking 15 IU HGH about 1.5 grams a day for 2 weeks of my life is going to kill me for all the shit you've done. Get a grip on reality. You're a 52-year-old man. You can't see this as a temporary thing we did to experiment for content. So they're doing all this just to get views on a video. And he put me on blast on his Instagram story. Yeah, he said, the mass blast is more entertaining and interesting than any content you have done in 30 years. Think about that. Wow, you got me there, kid. Yeah, and then he said, Ron Harris Muscle is a nerd. That's probably true. He's one of the most prolific people in bodybuilding, and his content is so boring because all he cares about is how someone looks. Newsflash, Ron, no one cares how you look. They care how you make them feel. And the mass blast is entertaining, educating, and making impact. That's why you've been making videos for 20 years and you get 1K views. I have not been making videos for 20 years. That's ridiculous. But anyway, where to begin, Jose? Where to begin? How much muscle mass you could put on in 9 days by blasting as much crap as humanly possible. That was the premise behind this mass blast. What do you think?
How much muscle? Zero. They're putting on zero muscle in 9 days. So to defend them, which sounds crazy,
Yeah.
when I saw this video, or what I saw of it, it looked to be a spoof. It looked to be, they weren't serious, like the fake drama, the way they were talking and stuff. I thought it was a spoof, and you know, I think they're only doing it for entertainment purposes, because there's no freaking way they can be serious. And these numbers are outrageous. And yes, it could have catastrophic short-term and long-term and instant ramifications. Taking 200 Lantus in a day, the things they're doing could be very dangerous. Now, I want to say I've met Tony Huge.
Yeah.
I've actually done a interview with him, and I like the guy. I think he's very, very charming, friendly. Seems like a super nice guy. And from what I know, I mean, he's not a doctor, but he's a lawyer.
He's a lawyer. Yeah, just like, you know, Christian Dukey. Come on, Christian. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your name. I guess if you go for a further law degree, you get a Juris Doctorate, a JD, and you can call yourself a doctor. It's basically the equivalent of like a PhD in law. So that's what he has.
He got a doctorate in law, whatever.
Right.
So he's clearly educated, intelligent to a degree, I guess. But I can't imagine that he deep down thinks this is okay. The things that they're doing, it's strict. That's the only way you can look at it, is that it's strictly entertainment purposes. Even the way they were talking, I can't imagine that this is a serious thing.
Well, there's $5,000. He's going to give one of these two guys $5,000. Whoever gains more muscle than the other guy. So, well,
listen, it makes no sense. Like, I wouldn't do that for $20,000. You know, in 9 days, you can make $5,000 pretty easily.
Yeah.
Without trying to kill yourself. It is so bizarre that they are doing this for $5,000. Maybe $50,000 would be more sensible.
Sure.
But why can't they make $5,000? It just doesn't even make sense. Like,
well, here's the thing. I get that. You know, it's entertaining. I agree totally with them. I agree with this, Elon, if you ever watch this. I agree with you. It's entertaining, but you know what? It would also be entertaining to see someone eat dog shit. It would be entertaining to see someone, how much cocaine can they snort before they have a heart attack? There's a lot of things. Eating Tide Pods, that's entertaining. These are all entertaining and people will watch it. But the problem is, Tony has a huge fan base all around the world of guys who believe in him, and they watch these experiments. And to not think for a minute that some of them aren't going to imitate and replicate these cycles and stuff is, of course they are. Of course they are. They're going to do it exactly if they can afford all that growth. I assume Tony's paying for all that. But if they can get their hands on all these drugs, I guarantee you there's a bunch of people out there who are going to do exactly what these two are doing. Especially if this one guy, Big Boy, says he put 20 pounds on in 9 days. 20 pounds. I mean, that has to be majority fat and water, because he looks pretty fat and bloated, you know, for a thinner guy. But, you know, the entertainment is one thing, but you're going to put people at risk because you're putting this out there. And I guarantee you, I promise you, people are going to imitate this and do the exact same cycle, do all that insulin, do all that growth. Just the insulin alone, that is horrifying. That one guy is on 200, he's on 700 units of insulin a day. He's in the hospital. He went to the hospital, so I assume he stopped, but someone's going to see that and go, that's a good idea. 700 units of insulin. I'll do that. That sounds like a freaking brilliant idea.
Yeah. When you first contacted me about discussing this, I didn't know what the hell I would even say. There's nothing to say. It's like, I hope nobody tries to do it, but you know they're gonna.
Yeah.
And that's the irresponsible part about it. And you know, again, when I've spoken to Tony, he sounded like a educated guy and
Yeah.
a good guy. This is highly irresponsible. And it's like he's digging himself a hole with, if it's not one thing, it's another. He just keeps doing dumb things. It's just, there's got to be other ways for him to get views.
And it has to be, he said he had a heart attack himself a few months ago.
Did he really?
He did, absolutely. He made a couple videos about it. So, you know, people say we love Tony because he's doing these experiments on himself to educate us and to find new breakthroughs in how to take performance enhancing drugs. But, you know, the same thing, Boston Lloyd, God rest his soul, he used to do the same thing. He experimented on himself and we all saw it coming. We were, you know, anybody who had a chance tried to warn him, say, you know, slow down, kid, this is not a good idea. He didn't slow down. He kept doing the experiments and ultimately it took his life way too young. I just want to read you one quote. They did a trailer for the Mass Blast. It was like a 2-minute video. And one of the last things Tony said, and I quote, because I wrote it down, if this info did get out into the mainstream and people realized how fast you could build muscle, it would destroy the entire fitness industry. So he honestly believes you can rush the muscle building process. You can overload the body with all these androgenic compounds and force it to grow muscle tissue at a rate that, you know, no one's ever seen before.
Well, let's see the before and afters. I mean, he's probably just going to be bloated.
Yeah.
If you've spent any amount of time in this industry, you know what it takes to truly gain muscle. And no, it's not going to destroy the fitness industry whatsoever. It's just going to continue to do what it's doing right now, is make people laugh. But it's not going to be funny when either Tony or one of his minions ends up hospitalized or dead. You know, that's sad. It's sad when anyone gets sick, and no matter how it happens, you don't want to see that.
Yeah.
And it's going to happen, no question. They keep pushing the envelope.
So we're going to get a ton of hate in the comments from the people that support Tony, that like him. And I agree, he's a very charismatic guy. That's why he's done as well as he has. He's got a great personality. He's always smiling, always seems like he's in a great mood. But, you know, we come across as assholes to those people because we're telling them, no, you can't rush it. It's going to take you years. You're going to have to work very long for a very long time, very hard. You're going to have to eat all this food. It's going to take a long time and a lot of work. And, you know, who wants to hear that? And Tony comes along and says, no, no, no. You can take all you can amplify, you can accelerate the process by taking way more drugs, and the training's not that important. The eating's not that important. It's all about the drugs. And when we get blasted because we say the drugs are they're part of the equation, but they're by no means the most important part of the equation. And let me stop before anyone says, you're trying to trick us and lie to us again. No, I agree. You would not have pro bodybuilder physiques without drugs, but those people are also, I'm talking about you, genetic freaks who work very, very hard for years, add the drugs in, add all those many, many thousands of meals in, all the rest, everything it takes together, and that's what you get. You can't rush a physique like that. And if you don't have the genetics, and unfortunately, these two guys, they do not have genetics. They're below average genetics, I would say, at best.
So, Ron, again, I'm going to defend them in that. One, I don't hate them, and I shouldn't get any stupid comments because I'm not. What they're doing is not what I did. They're not. I don't think they're being bodybuilders or trying to be bodybuilders.
Yeah.
If their goal is to put on weight, to see who can put on the most weight, regardless of what it is, then sure, they're achieving their goal. And someone's going to win $5,000 for putting on 30 pounds in 9 days. But 3 days later, they're going to be back down 15 pounds again. And they're not building muscle, and they're not looking better. They're not looking leaner. They're not looking more symmetrical. What bodybuilders do is put on inch by inch by inch of muscle over the course of 10, 15, 25 years. That's not what they're doing. And they're not going to be judged in a hammock, on stage. So sure, whatever they're doing, I have no idea. But what I don't like is that there are going to be bodybuilders that or aspiring bodybuilders that are going to watch this and think they can implement this into their program and that it's going to help. And it's not. There's nothing you can do in 9 days that's going to help your career, your physique, to that level, of what they're trying to say. It's just, I know from experience. I mean, no, I've never done 200 IUs of Lantus in a day, or what are they doing? 30 IUs of GH in a day?
One of them was doing 30, the other one was doing 15. But yeah, it's a lot.
And someone was doing 5,000 milligrams a test.
The first kid, Cody, who was the smaller of the two, he honestly looks like just like a college kid that maybe F's around with weights every once in a while, chubby, a little higher body fat for skinny fat. He looks skinny fat. So, I'm that.
What is 5,000 going to do that 1,000 wouldn't? 5
times better results.
Yeah, no, that's so awful.
I mean, that's the thing is, I'm not a steroid expert, but I have tried higher doses in the years past. I didn't see any further muscle growth from maybe a tiny bit, but I saw way more side effects, way more bloating, acne, just felt like shit. It just, the trade-off was not worth it at all. It's, if you weigh the positive and the negative, the little bit of extra muscle you get was not worth all the extra side effects you got.
No, but here's the thing. They're winning. They're getting the views. We're talking about it.
Yeah.
So they're accomplishing their goal. I hope they do it and get out of it unscathed. But one of them already ended up in the hospital.
Yeah.
It's kind of just silly. But I guess they're achieving their goal and that people are talking about it and people are watching it.
I agree. It's just, it galls me to see that message being pushed out to so many people that are gullible and they really want to hear that message that you can do it much, much faster and you don't have to put in all those years of work. You can do it. You can take this fast track and shortcut just by blasting a lot more drugs. The insulin itself is very, very alarming, because if anyone out there does that, diabetic comas are a very, very real possibility. Hypoglycemia, and you're dead. You're dead like that. You could do high dose of steroids for quite a while before you're not going to drop dead. You'll have health problems eventually, but you're not going to drop dead like that day. You could shoot a few bottles of test in your body right now. You're not going to die today or tomorrow or next week, but you shoot enough insulin, especially if you don't have enough carbs to balance it out. You're dead. You're dead that day. If you're not in the ER.
It would be interesting to get that doctor you have on, get his input on this.
Oh, he'd go crazy.
I'm sure he'd be a lot more alarmed than even I am. He would have some scientific answer.
Yeah.
I know it's bad. That's it. And I know that it's done for social media purposes. I know it's done for, to make money, but at what expense?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, you could make, there's a lot of other things you can do with your videos. You can make funny videos like Blessing. There's a lot of people who put out great training content with great advice, nutrition content. Even there are a lot of videos with reasonable PED discussions about how to do it in a safer way, effective things like that. But this just seems really reckless to me. And they can do whatever the hell they want there, especially if they're not in the USA, they're in Thailand. They can do whatever the hell they want. Who's gonna come after them? But I fear that this is going to be emulated by so many of his fans, and someone's going to end up. Several of them will end up in the hospital, I predict, and at least a couple of them will probably die. I mean, we're losing people left and right as it is. Do we really need to be putting out videos like this encouraging drug abuse, steroid abuse? I don't know, man.
Well, hopefully most people know it's just slapstick. Within the first minute, I got the feeling that it was a joke, that it didn't look real.
It is real. It's not a joke. They're really doing these things. they're really taking all the drugs, and they were trying to win this contest. I assume it's over now.
Are they working out?
Yeah, they work out. I mean, from the training clips I saw, it was nothing spectacular. These guys aren't like, training like Ronnie Coleman or Dorian or anything. But yeah, that's the other thing. To push drugs is the most important aspect of bodybuilding. It just bothers me because even though I fully admit drugs are a big part of bodybuilding and that look of a pro bodybuilder, you can't have that look without some PEDs for sure. But to take these guys that, I like to see people get the most out of their body naturally, like you did. You trained for many years naturally. You won many national championships naturally against plenty of guys who were on stuff. I had trained for 13 years naturally before I started using anything. And I know nobody's going to wait that long these days. We're in a different era now. People don't wait. You tell people 10, 20 years, like, oh, screw you, 10, 20 years. I'll be dead by then. So I get that. I get the fact that people want to get results fast, but that's everything. People want a diet pill. They want, what can I take to lose weight? They don't want to do the cardio and cut their carbs. It's like, what can I take? Just tell me what to take. What pill can I take? What can I inject? Because I want to get ripped now. I want to get huge now. I guess it's really just,
I don't think any serious bodybuilders looking at their videos and taking anything from it. I hope not. They're not bodybuilders. Even the guy even said that to you.
Yeah.
They're not bodybuilders. So hopefully no bodybuilders take any of that advice. It's a completely different thing. They're just doing this to be sideshows. Well, they don't look like bodybuilders.
But I mean, that's the thing is they're going to appeal to the guys that look like them because that's the market. I don't think Tony's target audience is bodybuilders or people who already look like bodybuilders. It's a lot of guys who have regular looking bodies who would like to get muscular and have a bodybuilder look fast. And he's telling him, this is how you do it. Just slam the drugs, and you can get 20, 30 pounds of muscle in a very, very short time, which you cannot force muscle growth. Average people do not grow muscle very fast. There's only a very rare, tiny percentage of people that build muscle fast. The rest of humanity, it's a very, very gradual process. It's like watching your freaking lawn grow, something like that. It's painstakingly slow. No matter, and trying to rush the process by endangering your health like that. That's what really irked me. That's why I asked you to do this video.
I don't think also, if you ask any good pro, if they enjoyed the process of using insulin, whether it be how they looked or how they felt, for any extended period of time, they all say no. I remember an interview with Dorian. He said he tried it a few times and he didn't like it at all. His stomach was bloated. He didn't feel good. I think Jay said the same thing. Sure, people used it, but I don't think anyone used it for or enjoyed it or really, really liked the results from it over any extended period of time. Maybe a brief thing. You look great in the gym one day when you really needed it and you were super pumped, but that's about it. I don't.
As far as the GH, you've talked to people. Have you talked to anyone who found that very high doses, like 20, 30 units of growth a day, did it make that much of a difference in terms of muscle growth?
Yeah, but the side effects are awful. Your hands going numb or stomach issues or, can't sleep. I don't know. There's only been a few people who told me honestly that they used exorbitant amounts. And, the average person can't afford that. Unless
30 units of growth a day? Jesus Christ. That's 3 little bottles. A kit is 10 bottles. So they're going through a kit basically every 3 days. Even if you can get a kit for $300, it's a really good price these days, $250, $300. They're blowing over $1,000 a week just on growth hormone.
Yeah, I don't know. I never heard anyone to say they used 30, but I know of a few that said they did 18. You know, the Serostin, whatever, a bottle's 18 units.
Right.
So they would do a bottle a day of that.
Right.
But I mean, I'm not going to say that's safe, but that's made for HIV patients to take. That's why there's 7 of them in a kit. You take 18 a day for HIV. So some, you know, so I definitely have heard of some people use 18, but even that is probably just crazy, the side effects.
Yeah. So I guess I just want to wrap it up by making sure everyone knows, don't try this at home. Do not do this. You cannot rush muscle growth. Insulin use is very, very dangerous, very risky. The amounts this one guy was taking, that is, any doctor who heard that would be horrified, you know, and these are the people that see diabetics and cases like that every day. You know, you talk to a nephrologist, a kidney specialist or something, talk to a real medical professional, they would just be appalled at hearing all this stuff. Anyway, that's it, man.
Yeah, hopefully nothing comes of it. Hopefully they get out unscathed. Again, I'm not going to say I dislike Tony at all, because he was really nice to me. I just think there's better ways for him to make a living.
Yeah, and I have nothing personally. I've never met the guy. He seems very likable. Seems like a guy. Yeah, he seems like the kind of guy you'd like to have a drink with and hang out with. But yeah, the pushing that message out of the reckless drug use. That's where I have issues. It's not a personal thing. It's there's enough of us doing drugs in this industry and in the world that are taking risks. We don't need to make it any worse than it is, especially now that we're seeing so many guys getting ill and people passing away. We need to do our part to try to make things a little safer if we can, not to encourage practices that are more dangerous.
Exactly.
That's it. All right. Well, that's it. So please, guys, follow Jose on Instagram. Megan the Stallion stole this from him, by the way. Did you know that? It's the Boston Mass with 2 E's, the Boston Mass. Yeah, you were called that before Megan the Stallion, so I'm pretty sure she got that.
She wasn't even around then.
So follow him on Instagram. Go to his YouTube channel. It's called the Boston Mass. And if you're in Boston, where do you want to train? The Gym Hub Boston. Check that out too. That is Nate Tello's place. You can find Jose there quite a bit, especially on the weekends. Awesome new facility with incredible hand-picked equipment. The best trainers in the world, basically, Jose. Yeah, so that's it, man. Thank you so much.
There's another one. Be sure to join Senapani Circle on Telegram.
Oh, yeah. So how do they do that? So go to download Telegram?
Download Telegram.
Yeah.
And join the circle.
Yeah.
I call it the circus.
So who we got on there, on your circle?
You got Frank McGrath, Evan Senapani, Antoine Valiant, James Hollingshead, Flex Lewis, Guy Sistanino,
wow,
myself, Chris Tuttle, Flex Lewis. Did I say Flex Lewis?
Yeah, holy crap. I didn't know Flex was on there.
Yeah. Juji Mufu.
Wow.
Say Guy, Frank. There's got to be another one. Fuad.
Fuad's on there too. Wow.
Yeah.
Talk about an all-star cast. Holy crap.
Yeah, there's 10. It's awesome. It's hilarious.
And they can interact with you guys too.
What's that?
Can the people interact with you guys, or is just you guys?
Yeah, they can comment, they can post pictures, whatever, and you ask questions. So it's crazy interaction. It's something you've never seen before. It's like when people do Instagram Live, but there's 10 guys doing it back and forth.
Oh boy.
Asking and answering questions, showing the insides of their house, their life. James is naked every time. He's always either in the bath or just getting out of bed. Guys out deer hunting. Tuttle's there shooting guns. Evan's at work, like making fun of his colleagues. And Lee Priest is there too.
Lee Priest is on your circle too.
Oh yeah.
Good Lord.
The funniest guy.
He's hilarious.
Oh man, it's crazy because it's a 24-hour a day thing. So you're getting people in good moods, bad moods, maybe a little altered. It's pretty wild. It's never been done before. I think there's about 6,000 members now. It's growing daily. So if you want to see some entertaining shit, get on there.
Telegraph, download Telegraph, guys, and it's
Telegram.
Telegram.
Yes.
I have everything up, don't I? Telegram, Centopani's circles.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Good enough, man. So thank you, Jose, very much. Everybody, thanks for watching No Way Jose, starring the Boston Mass, Jose Raymond, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.